Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 50, the big 50, that is right ladies and gentlemen, we have got half a century's worth of Hermitcraft episodes, and I hate to say it, there isn't actually going to be any form of special in today's video. I was originally considering doing a face cam, like I did last time we hit episode 50 on Hermitcraft, but since then, I have actually stepped up my soundproofing game a little bit. Now, for those of you who don't know, my soundproofing that I use for making my videos isn't particularly professional. A lot of people have like proper acoustic foam and all that sort of stuff, the studio equipment. Nope, I don't have any of that. What I do is I get the pillows from my bed, I put those behind my monitors, they stop most of the echo, and then all around me, I have blankets that hang from the ceiling to stop any of the sound coming out, bouncing off the walls and going back into the microphone, because that sounds really very awful. But the issue is, it looks stupid. It really does look very stupid. And if I was to do a face cam, it would look like you had, I don't know, started watching me mid-slumber party. It really would be very strange. So I decided against that one. So what we're going to be having is we're going to be having a bog standard, completely normal Hermitcraft episode, which should be nice, okay? I shouldn't see anyone complaining about getting a normal Hermitcraft episode because I work hard on these things and that would make me sad. But anyway, in today's episode, we are going to be doing a bunch of stuff over here. We've got some things to finish up in this area. We also have some things to finish up elsewhere in the base, so it should be fairly interesting. Oh no. I know about the head games. I know about the head games now, and Biffa joining the server is not something that I wanted to see. Oh, I'm going to keep mining my sand nice and quietly, but while we do all of this stuff, what I thought I'd quickly mention is the P word. It's something that I brought up in a recent Hermitcraft episode, the whole Patreon thing. I held a straw poll, and over 3,500 of you said that I should make one, which was a pretty overwhelming majority, so I thought to myself, I can't say no to that, can I? I can't say no to that. It's going to have to be done. So it has been done. A Patreon has been made. You can find it down in the description, and on top of that, you can also find a video down in the description that explains all of the questions that I'm sure you're going to have, which is completely understandable because you will have questions like, where's the money going to be going? Or what are the rewards going to be? And like I say, that video should cover all of those. So yeah, that's it basically. That's all I wanted to say on the whole Patreon thing. Just wanted to briefly mention that it now exists, and if you do want to check it out, then links to those sorts of things can be found down in the description. I'm going to be carrying this iron ingot around with me just in case Biffa does go for me and does actually end up killing me. He will know that he is no longer safe on the server. I will get my revenge, Biffa, don't you worry. Okay, so I have made a little bit of progress here. Some of the finer details of this room have been completed. So, for example, all the way across here, this was just regular stone on the floor. Switched that out for iron, and now it is all looking good. But most importantly, in the central section here, we have got all of the compressed ice, all of the sea lanterns, and also all of the white stained glass in, because originally it was just the compressed ice in a little recess section, and most of you were probably sat there thinking, what on earth is that meant to do? Yeah, I had this idea when I started building it, but I never actually ended up getting round to placing in all the blocks. So now that is there, it is looking nice and pretty, and we have also been able to remove all of the torches because of course we have all this lighting in the middle, so now everything is looking bright, light, and not very cluttered. So that is good. Receives a thumbs up from me, but there are still a few things left to do. For example, this bit here, we have got a very large ugly section here, and this bit here, another large ugly section. We need to do the transition between this room and this room, because currently this room ends, and then we have a couple blocks, and then this room begins. We want that to be a smooth transition, and that's actually going to be pretty difficult. One side of the build is done. We have done the transition between this room and this one, and I feel like it's gone well. You know what? I feel like it's gone okay. It all looks good from this side. From this side, it does look just a little bit abrupt, as in the room ends here, and it's just a flat line, and then we go into this central section. But here's the deal, okay? I experimented for quite some time with various different archways. I was going to make it so that this ceiling here met the arch of this room. So basically we had an arch going up like this, and then gradually the arch leveled out as we went across. But sadly, it just didn't look very good, and I really did struggle with the proportions and making it all look nice. So I decided against that one. Instead, we have gone for the flat ceiling design, and yeah, it works nicely. Pretty happy with that one. But anyway, now we have this large scale blank canvas out the back here, and I'm a little bit nervous about this one because it is a pretty big deal. Okay, we need to get this one right because otherwise, I mean, what's the first thing that you're going to notice when you come into this room? Probably going to be the back wall. So this has got to be looking good. So here goes the moment of truth. The back wall is partially finished, and I'll get onto that in a couple of seconds, but here it is. Yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? It's a fairly predictable design. I'm sure, you know, most of you probably came up with that yourselves, but it basically just uses the same old materials with a bunch of pillars, a little bit of depth going on there, and I think it definitely works out. But the main thing is that you're probably wondering about is, what's this glass window about? Okay, you're looking through into granite, and that's not particularly interesting. But of course, this is going to be a sorting system. This is going to be a place in which I can dump items in a chest, and they get transported into all of these chests. Now, what that means is we need some form of dump chest, but also we're going to need to transfer all of these items upwards to the top so that they can go into the hoppers, and then they drop down into all of these chests. And that means that we're going to need an item elevator, and I thought a cool feature of this room could be the visible item elevator. So all of the items travel up, you can see them going up there into the hoppers. Thought it would be a nice feature to have in the wall, so that is what this is going to be. But of course, that means that we're going to have to do some serious redstone, some serious hopper placing, and some serious bits and pieces, which is going to involve quite a bit of planning. But anyway, first things first, I've got to finish off the item elevator itself. The infrastructure is there. We now have a pipe for all of our items to travel up through, which may look quite strange for anyone that doesn't know what glass item elevators look like. But yes, the items are going to travel up through this glass and into some hoppers up at the top. But of course, that means that we have got to do some fancy redstone bits and pieces to get them from this chest into a water stream, which is going to push them into this glass item elevator and finally up into the hoppers. And that means that we're going to have to clear out a little bit of area under here. Then we're going to have to get our redstone hat and boots on and start doing some constructing. Want to know the one thing that I have seriously neglected in my base? Crafting tables. It's ridiculous how few crafting tables I have. In fact, I'm having to go right away from the storage area all the way to the outside of my base, unless there's one over here. Yeah, there is one over here, but by the look of things, that's temporary, isn't it? Okay, so as far as I can tell, this should now be operational. Okay, that's a fingers crossed type thing, because I don't honestly know. I've used a slightly different sort of design and layout than what I usually do, but it's really compact. In fact, I'm really surprised at how compact this little system is that I've created down here. But anyway, what we have is, of course, we've got the input chest. This is where all of the items are going to be going. Those items will then flow through these hoppers down into this dropper, which is one of those auto firing droppers. Don't know if I can actually get through to the redstone circuitry. Let's see if we can get a good look. Nope, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to see it particularly, but you guys know how that looks. I've done it multiple times on camera now. So yes, there is the little circuit there. But anyway, those items will then flow out like this. They will go over to these two blocks, which will make them clump together. They will then hit this side wall here, hit this fence, and then be pushed into the sort of central section of this block and be forced upwards into these blocks. And then because of the way that Minecraft works, they will continue going upwards, traveling up in a straight line until they reach air. So that is basically how that item elevator works in theory. As I say, never really used this layout before, so it should work. I think it should work. Let's chuck some items in, and we should begin to see them, A, being fired out of this dropper, which isn't looking like it's working. How very peculiar. Oh, okay, it's because we haven't placed that block there. Sorry, I took that out while I was trying to get across to it. Right, okay, we should begin to see now, if we give this a bit of an update, that it's working, finally. Wow, I got a little bit worried then that my system wasn't going to be up and running. But yeah, we should begin to see, okay, that is good. That is good. The items are traveling up through the item elevator, and that looks really cool. So, whew, that was a bit of a heart flutter there. I have to say, I didn't think that the system was actually up and running. But yes, it seems to be working. All of those items have traveled up just fine. There shouldn't be any stuck down at the bottom here. Good. Okay. Excellent. So I'm just doing a little bit of work up at the top now. We have got a bunch of hoppers on the top of the item elevator because, of course, the items are going to travel up, but if we've got nothing to pick them up, then it's going to be a little bit silly. So we have this hopper in the center and then a few precautionary hoppers around the edge just in case the items decide to go everywhere. But those items are going to land in this hopper. They are then going to travel off like this and go into the loop. Now, the loop is what I'm referring to as the hopper chain that is going to be going right the way around all of these chests. So we have the top layer of chests, and it's going to go across like this, and then it's going to loop round on that side and go into that other edge of hoppers, so on the other side, and then it's going to drop down a level and go to the bottom chest, and it's going to go into all of those sorters, and then it is going to loop back round and go into all of those chests as well. It is going to require a lot of hoppers, a seriously large quantity of hoppers, and I'm going to be doing that in a future episode, probably in the episode where I actually start work on the redstone of the item sorter, which we aren't going to be doing in today's episode. But one thing that I do just want to mention is look how much space we have to play with. Oh boy, we can do so much stuff back here. The lack of crafting tables in my base is starting to drive me mad. It really is. It's just ridiculous. Why do I not have any crafting tables? They're so easy to make, and I think the main problem is because I think they're actually a little bit ugly. I don't really like crafting tables, especially not in this base where everything is meant to be white, pristine, and clean. So that means that once again, we are going to have to do a little bit of redstone because I want to create a hidden crafting table system, you know, the block swapper type system. We might do a few of them around the base, but the first one that I think we are going to do, and is probably the most important, is the one next to the storage area, because let's face it, that's where you most use them. So I thought, considering I haven't done much stuff on camera in today's episode, I would take you through the building of one of the oldest designs in the book. I mean, seriously, this build is probably old as me, so, you know, it's getting on at least 19 years of age, alright? It's a proper old design, but it still works, and to be quite frankly honest with you, it uses some strange piston mechanics that I personally don't fully understand. It's not a design that I would have thought of. I would have made it much more complicated than this, and that's why it's brilliant, okay? It's absolutely brilliant because it just functions, and it does its thing. So anyway, we have got all of this, then we just need to run the repeater into that piston there, and I think we are actually nearing completion. I think we just need another repeater set to 2 ticks, and then we have all of this. We'll quickly take that one out. We need the redstone torch there, because basically you have the redstone and the torch powering the pistons, and that means that they retract really quickly, so it's basically a falling edge monostable circuit. Anyway, we will need the block there. That is going to be the block that is swapping, and then this one here. Right, let's give it a bash. Hopefully I've done everything correctly. So here goes nothing. There it is. It's a functional hidden crafting bench. I mean, how simple is that design? Alright, we have a couple bits of redstone torches, got a few repeaters, few sticky pistons, and that is it done. And one of the best things about this design is the fact that we can just place redstone on top of this block here, and then if I actually had some sandstone slabs, then I will be able to place a full block there, and we'll be able to have the button up top like this. But sadly I don't have any of those, but that's basically what the input is going to look like. So we'll hit that button there and the whole thing will swap out. Sandstone slabs were achieved, and now we have ourselves a nice looking hidden crafting bench. When we hit the button, obviously it's swapped out, and when we hit the button once again, it comes back. So that is going to be useful, especially once we get all of the items on the inside of the storage area. But anyway, that is enough work for this area for one day. I mean, I've been over there for what? Probably a good few hours. Yeah, it's been a couple of hours, which is strange because, you know, we've only done a few bits. But anyway, that's unfortunately how time works occasionally. We're now going to be moving over to the tree farm because there are a few bits and pieces that I want to do. As I'm sure you can tell, if we quickly walk over there, the intro, you know, the entrance. Oh, it is not looking good. The room's lovely. I love this place. It's warm, it's homey. I love it. But this area here, oh, it's not particularly pretty, is it? So we're going to have to work on that one, make it look all a lot nicer. So hopefully we can do a decent job. Ah! 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 No! Oh! Ah! So I was playing around with the idea of doing something complicated. Perhaps I was going to do it all on camera and just talk through the build and everything like that. But in the end, I just decided to go against all of those options and build something relatively basic. You know, we have got a pretty similar design to what we have going on in here. It is subtly different. There's a few minor changes. I personally prefer this room to the actual entrance area, but it's okay. It works. It does the job, and that's the best thing about it. It looks considerably better than it did beforehand. The only thing that I'm not 100% sold on is the cobblestone stairs. But then again, I quite like the cobblestone texture. I think the main problem that I have with cobblestone and the use of cobblestone is the fact that most people just complain about it. You're using cobblestone, etc, etc. But yeah, I think they're okay, and of course I can't use stone bricks because otherwise that would be my go-to block for this sort of section. So that part is now done. The tree farm is actually entirely complete now. This entire room and entire project is finished, which is good. So we've got a project finished in today's episode. We have also started a bunch of new projects, but now I have got to fix this tiny bit of creeper damage. Oh, it's so frustrating. Everything was fixed, and believe it or not, that is pretty much everything that I had planned for today's episode. That was all of the projects. We completed them all in record time, within around about 15 minutes, which I would say is fairly impressive. So now we got some time to kill, and I was originally considering doing a few extra projects, perhaps a few more hidden crafting benches and things, but you know what? Sod it. It's episode 50. We're going to celebrate by going to Hermit Thrills, but before we do, what on earth is happening here? Look, we have got the bouncing sugarcane here, which should mean that, yeah, our entire storage system for sugarcane has filled up. I mean, forget the Iron Titan. We now have the Sugarcane Titan on the Hermitcraft server. Alright, well, straight away, the first thing that I've noticed coming into Hermit Thrills is this absolutely glorious new contraption. I mean, there is a ton of... Hang on a minute. I didn't really get a chance to give a proper look around. There is a ton of stuff that has been going on around Hermit Thrills. But the first build that I've noticed, because it really did make me chuckle, is a carousel. Look, we've got a carousel. You sit on the horses, and you just have to, you know, wind your way. It's not the most extreme carousel in the world, alright? It's a fairly relaxed ride as far as they go. But I guess, you know, if you navigate it properly, can you speed up? Doesn't look like it. Well, you know what? As much as this carousel is cool, it's a little bit boring. How about we try out some of the other stuff that we've got going on here? Alright, we are going to be playing a game of Bruce. Now, briefly read out the instructions to you just so you can get a rough idea of how this works. So, the aim of the game is to light up all 8 redstone lamps at the same time without the arrows despawning. The carrot in front of Bruce will flash when all lights are on. To play, stand on the platform provided. And then there's a bunch of admin stuff, tips and things like that. You know what? I think I know what I'm doing with this one. So hopefully we should be good to go now. So I've got a bunch of arrows on me. I've had a few practice games and I know where all of the buttons are. Because I tell you what, okay, the first game, it went perfectly. You can see that lamp is actually still on. So you might have to wait for that one to despawn. Or I'll actually just go over there and pick up the arrow. Huh, that's strange. It doesn't actually look like there is an arrow there. So it looks like that lamp's actually been frozen on. Give it a second. Right, there we go. That's fixed that one. But yeah, I was playing. I shot what I thought was all of the buttons. But then I didn't see that one back there. And I was looking for the 8th one. And I just kept shooting it at the nose. I thought those were buttons I had to hit. But it turns out, yeah, those aren't actually targets. But anyway, let's give this a go. Now, as you guys know, not particularly brilliant at the whole aiming thing, but here goes nothing. Right, that I would say was far too high. That was off to the left. Oh, it's so difficult to get the correct angle. Just missed. That's a good one. No. The hardest shot is the first one. Right, there we go. That's that. Oh, wow, that was a good shot. Come on. Come on. Don't lose it now. Oh, my life. Hit the button. I'm going to go mad. Can you see how close all of these are? Right, there we go. That's that one. That is that one. That is that one. That is that one, hopefully. Ah! Oh, the pressure gets to me so much. Right, there we go. And that one. Yes! We did it! We actually did it! I can't believe that. I must admit, I thought we were going to lose it at one point. You guys were probably going mad down in the comment section at me missing all of those. But wow, I really like this thing. Let's take a look inside. It looks like there is a prize that we can pick up. Oh, wow. Please take a prize. What do these things mean? Right, I'm going to have to read this stuff. Right, well, instead of playing another game, I thought we would quickly head over to the Ender Games and just take a look at the scores, because I want to see what sort of times people have been getting. So, best times. Ooh, Slip managed to get 4 stacks and 18, so 274. But False is the current winner with 235. That is quick. That is very fast, I have to say. That is a very tough course, so it does take quite a long time, but that is an impressive time there. Well, I never. Well, all of the hermits have been playing games in Hermit Thrills. I might actually turn this into a little thing, perhaps doing one of the games in Hermit Thrills at the end of every episode, just because I find it really fun, and it's cool to see what the hermits are up to, what sort of games they're making. Obviously, I love this carousel, but that game of Bruce, that was really good fun, especially for someone that isn't particularly good with the bow and arrow. It was nice to see that I still have some sort of skill, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, that was really good fun. So thanks to Impulse and False for building that one. Thanks to Slip and False for playing the Ender games. And thank you for watching this video, because unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I am all out of time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.